Hello, welcome to the showcase. As you know by now, my name is Shaun Martin. I have 45 years experience in the field of entertainment. I'm here to share with you some of the greatest talent and experience in Clubland by learning from each other. Please, would you subscribe to my channel? This enables me to produce more great content like this, and there's lots more to come. Thank you very much. Welcome to the showcase, Dean Mooney.
Hey, Dean Moon, that'll do.
More Dean Moon, okay.
Cheers,
Dean,
mate.
we had a bit of a technical glitch, but we've got there, mate.
Yeah, got there in the end. But Christ,
Thanks for your patience. I'll have to kind of like get it ready for other people.
no,
So, Dean, for the viewers, for people watching, explain who you are, how you started in the business.
Yeah, probably like a lot of people back in the day. I've got sort of a musical background with one of my family members. 1987, Dave Hemingway joined the House Martins. So I've always had an interest in the House Martins, and from being about 15, 16, music-wise, entertainment-wise, I've always sort of been involved, not all in music, but in singing. So I used to do a lot of breakdancing, BMX shows. So I've always kind of had a taste for entertaining, if you like, in some kind of guise. But it wasn't probably until 1990 that I started getting into the music side of things. And I've always enjoyed music, but then started, going about and trying to get noticed. I rung up a phone number in the Old Daily Mail when you used to have the ads in the Old Daily Mail years ago. All the actor was on, blah, blah, and there was a phone number in there. And I always remember ringing it, a guy for doing some backing tracks. I didn't know how to get backing tracks back in them days. And I rung the guy, went and took some songs down, went and picked them up a few days later, and was practicing away with those. But
Wow.
I never really got into the scene until about 1994.
Wow. So, well, let's talk about that, Dean, because as many viewers are watching, there's some people not in the business, some people just starting in the business, and they're getting tips from people like you, me, and everybody else that's been on the podcast. And I think it's got to be in your blood, Dean, to do it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, from an early stage, you know what I mean? Like years ago when it was sort of first starting out, I saw an advert. There was a group, like a singing group, Crowder Club. I don't know if you remember Crowder Club.
I do. That's an old one.
Stone Ferry. So I went along to Crowder Club one night. Saw the advert, come along, practice your songs. And that was 1990. Just into 1990 it was. So I went along, went in there. There was only about 5 people in there. You basically went in there, took your tapes. So it was a tape then, put your tapes in. As long as it didn't sort of, it was all right. You know what happens to tapes. And I walked in there, and there was a young Bobby Diamond in there. Even there, we've got some great photos from back in the day. There was a lady called, I forgot her name. I can't remember her name. There's about 4 or 5 in there, and we set up like a little singing show, and we went round a few clubs back in the day. And I was quite nervous at that time. The lady who took us round, she did all the talking, got us into the bars, the clubs to do this show. There was a little lass called Emmy Lou. I remember Emmy Lou. I don't know what she's doing now. Marie Danville was the lady. She was like our mentor, if you like.
Ah.
Our mother, if you like. She did all the talking to everybody.
Well, it's people like that in them days that helped you nowadays. There isn't none of that. There's very little of that. I mean, when I first got started, it was at Barham, Ivy Naylor.
Yeah, Barham,
that was my grounding. I love that place. But we all had aspirations. We all had people who wanted to help us, and that's what we're doing now. So, what was your first really big gig?
First really big gig was at Crowder Club.
Wow.
To be fair, when I was, I'd been 19 at the time, so it was the group that was in there created this bit of a show, and I always remember stood on some stairs going up into Crowder Club because you went up the stairs, and I just remembered there was a point, you know, when it's your turn to go on in the show, and you're just thinking, do I want to be really here? And I kind of like just thought, yeah, I do, and it's them exciting nerves what sort of have carried you through. Because still get nervous, you know, people still get nervous, but it's a good thing, you know.
It
It's
is.
not like oh, I ain't going to do this anymore. Because when you've been on there, you've come off, you've done your show, you've had a great night. You think, what's all that about?
Yeah.
But you do.
Adrenaline is the driver, Dean. Adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of acts who's been on here, and you know, great friends with people who've known 30 odd years,
Wow.
and we still have chats about being nervous. You know, before you go on stage, you know, big events. You know, it doesn't have to be a big event. Sometimes you might be trying a few new songs out. You
Yeah.
think,
Yeah,
I hope
you're
they
right.
go right. You know, but yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
Good.
Still getting away with it. You know.
So what do you prefer, pubs or clubs?
Well, I did a club recently last weekend. I did the Willows
Oh,
last
oh,
Saturday night with the last band standing.
my mates, they're brilliant. Do you use the PA?
I did, yes, yeah, fantastic.
We've got to give Richard a plug. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Richard, he's there. He's been there quite a few years now.
Yeah, and it's all
Richard,
his gear, you know.
yeah, it was fantastic. Great sound, great club. But that's something that when I first started out, I used to love clubs. Still do. There's not that many of them about now, as you know. You know, and a lot of people who've come on your podcast have talked about that. But there's just something about a club where you know what you're going to get. The night's set for you. You know your spots. You know there's a bingo coming on. There's going to be a raffle of some sort, and it's kind of structured. So you're on, you're off. You know, and clubs are organised.
This is what I like, Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, the star turn tonight is the bingo. In between the bingo, we've got Dean Moon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, you know, and with clubs, you kind of you can have a quick look at your audience setting up, and you know what your kind of audience want, basically. You know, where pubs they're going to be a bit mixed, you know, but clubs are getting a bit more updated now. People are coming asking you for songs, and you know, a little 80-year-old woman asking for Robbie Williams or something, you know, and you think, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you know. So, but yeah, clubs I've always loved the feel of clubs and the way clubs are run, because pubs you can go in pubs and it's quite kind of just you're in the background sometimes, you're doing what you want to do. But clubs, you've got to, comparing there maybe, and somebody's helping you along, organising the night, and you feel a bit more of a team, you
You
know.
do. Dean, what's your genre? What do you kind of like sing?
Well, I do a lot of, well, not say a lot of, but I try and vary my acts, my songs. I do quite a bit of Beautiful South, House Martins, Wet, 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 Neil Diamond, right back to Billy Fury, Bobby Darin, you know, some of the good sort of 60s rock and roll stuff. So it's quite varied. It depends. You can go in a pub and never touch a 60s song, you know, and you're more like 80s, 90s, bit of 70s. But then, you go to a club and people, the 60s and 70s are always at the front, you know.
Did you see Ted Key's podcast from the House Martins?
I did, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Back in the
crazy, isn't it?
see some of the old pictures with Ted on, you know, and you think, wow,
Yeah,
crazy. You know, the story of it all, you know, obviously I didn't kind of know the ins and outs and the background, but yeah, Ted was in it for a while, wasn't it? And then obviously what happened, happened.
he got 2 gold discs though from it, so which is
Yeah, I
nice.
saw
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
not bad. It's
yeah,
great.
are you currently got a lot of work yourself?
It's going well. Yeah, I mean, I don't really go through agents as much as I used to. I do a lot of work, a lot of work myself. Go through a couple of agents at the moment, here and there. You know, give me a call if I've got the dates free, or I'll send a few dates in. But at the moment, I'm currently when in March, I'm currently working for the Larkham Leisure Company. It's the holiday park. So I'm the compare entertainer, bringing on acts, taking them off. Cowden. It's the
Oh,
holiday park at Cowden.
wow,
You know that one between
I
Hornsey
do.
and over? Yeah,
Played there many times.
yeah. So it's a fantastic club, fantastic site, absolutely brilliant. And I've been there just before COVID, so 2019 started there. So this will be like my sixth year coming up. But obviously, when COVID came, everything stopped, as you know, and everything went in.
Must like you.
But yeah, but it's a fantastic club, and so I do a few songs, bring the act on. They come off the act on, they play games. We do a few like play cards, right? That sort of stuff fills the night up. But it's great because I get to see a lot of acts who I ain't seen. You've always, you probably know yourself. You always see the picture or the image or somebody in a changing room or as you walk in a lobby, but you never actually get to meet them. But doing this role at Cowden actually gives me great, and it's a club atmosphere. It's fantastic, and I can really be myself on the stage there.
How far do you have to travel to get there, Dean?
I can be at Cowden in 25 minutes from my house.
That's handy then.
If I can be in bed by 1 o'clock, that'll do me in the morning.
How many nights are you doing?
I do Saturday nights there, so that starts in March.
Wow.
So they give me the dates through the year, and I prioritise that, and then work around that for me Saturdays, and maybe the odd Sunday in there. So bank holidays, stuff like that.
And what agent do they use at Cowden?
Oh, to be honest with you, I'm not sure. There's a couple of guys in there who bring acts in, from just word of mouth, that sort of thing. So, but they bring bands, there's duos, and there's a lot of people who've on your podcast who've been there as well, and they'll tell you it's a fantastic place.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I'm not sure agent wise. I've never really asked that question, to be honest with you. But you do get a lot from out of town as well. They come from Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds, all them kind of places.
Well, my next question to you, Dean, is do you travel as well? Do you go to Leeds and Sheffield?
Not as much as I used to now. No. I've always worked during the day as well. I've always had a day job.
A proper job.
Proper job. I've always had a proper job. So, which was handy in COVID. When COVID came and I was still working, still earning. So, I don't know, a lot of acts, left the business, in COVID.
I'm sorry to say a very good friend of mine, very good comedian, he left the business in COVID and he was travelling on cruise ships all over, Dean. I don't know if you know Andy Wilkins.
Andy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's coming on it.
Oh, I look forward to that. Yeah, and Andy's fantastic. He's somebody, when we've been out places in the past and you've been to see him somewhere, when he's on stage, you can't take your eyes off him.
That's
what I mean?
right.
He's a lovely kid, down to earth. He's funny when you're just talking to him. Never mind when on the stage.
He is.
But he's a great guy.
He is. There's not many comedians around now, is there, Dean? I mean, at your club, I bet you don't hardly get any.
No, it's not. It's not that sort of. I don't know. You've got to have certain venues for comedians, I think, sometimes, unless you get like a comical singer, if you like, and there's kind of a comical feel to the act. But mainly it's kind of song structured with a bit of a humour in, within the act. To get a straight comic, you've got to go to certain places, I suppose, and some people might like a certain comic, some might not. It's a bit, like that, whether you get a good comic or a bad one.
Yeah. When it comes to Christmas, every man and his dog gets about 25 days a year in December. Is that you?
No, to be fair. I don't work over Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I've never worked over Christmas. I've always done New Year.
Oh.
Because I've always been kind of sort of like family orientated, to be fair. I've had children growing up over the years. Been with my partner now nearly 30 years. So Christmas has always been just a time. I work all year through. So I'll do a last gig, probably maybe the 18th, 19th, 20th, whatever it falls on, the weekend before, and that'll be it till New Year. Go out New Year's Eve. But Christmas, I tend to take Christmas off. I don't Christmas.
Dean, there's not many people that say that. I don't usually ask personal questions, but
that's okay.
What's your job, if you don't mind me saying? What is you specialised in?
My day job, I work for Aunt Bessie's, the Aunt Yorkshire pudding sort of company.
Wow, my God, at up on Esel Road there.
The road, Fritliner Road, yeah. So I'm a full safety auditor. That I
Wow,
work, yeah.
that's good, isn't it?
I've been with them just over 30 years.
Well, you got a good pension in then.
Well, I don't know. I'm not thinking about that yet. I'm only 34, so
Wow. Well, I love Aunt Bessie's. I love me Yorkshire pudding.
yeah,
Real hard to get out here, though. You know,
yeah. I'll try and send you some. They might be a bit defrosted by the time they get there.
you can't be. And I used to always, when I was in England, always buy Aunt Bessie's roast potatoes as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so you see, I've always had a day job, and
Yeah, I understand that now.
so I've always kind of my weekends have been, for entertaining, singing, going out. But I'm just trying to sort of like slow it down a little bit now, because I don't travel as far as much now. And I prioritise Cowden.
Yeah, you've got to do, haven't you?
I mean, Larkham Leisure, great company to work for as well. So
Good. And your wife goes with you, I assume?
my partner, now and again, she does some afternoons. If I'm out some afternoons somewhere, something like that, because don't want to be too late back on a night. So we've got no dependents at home now, so we're all right. So we can. Oh, I've got a dog. Got a dog. So he needs looking after.
You still look so young, Dean.
Yeah, must be the light in here, is it?
Turn it off.
Some creams you can get now. I mean,
Well, a job
it's
like...
it's all up there. I don't worry about anything.
No. Do you have your own PA then as well, or do you leave it at the club?
Yeah. I rig it up, take it down. When I go up to Cowden, and then use it for a Sunday night. Maybe a Friday night here and there.
That was my biggest pain in the ass, but lugging your gear around.
Look at it, especially if you had to go upstairs somewhere to a club. They're the worst ones.
I don't know if you remember D Street on Esel Road. That was a killer. I worked there with bands and carrying the big PV subs up there.
There was no other way, was there? There was no other way.
And getting parked.
Parked around there, yeah. That's the worst thing, because it's like a one-way around there, isn't it? Like a one-way system.
Bloody nightmare.
But another great club, D Street. By the time you got up there, you was knackered before you went on stage. You thought you 2 sets before you started.
I tell you what, Dean, though, there's some great resident bands there.
Yeah.
Mate of mine, Bry Rudd, was on. In fact, the guy from Willows now, Richard, was there as well.
Yeah.
So, my God.
Some great clubs. I've still got my dots all dusty somewhere,
Right, do you remember them?
That's what I miss about a club, dots, your resident bands is fantastic.
Oh, did your dots? Was it Julie Kinsey?
Julie Kinsey.
Yeah.
Julie Kinsey, because I got to know Julie because back in the day we used to do a lot of talent competitions, which was great experience, to get the feel of, your performance on stage and try and get it right. And we used to go up to Victoria Tavern at Wivensey, and Julie Kinsey was the keyboardist there, and you just take her a song, this is what I want, Julie, blah, blah, blah. A couple of weeks later, I've got your dots, and we'll go pick them up, It's
Erin Terry Bell, just awesome. Julie's a great friend of the family. I'd love to get her on here, but she doesn't use computers, she doesn't use social media. She's just a telephone, and that's it. So I don't know how to do it.
She's fantastic, is Julie.
Amazing, lovely woman.
Yeah, just amazing me when I see a keyboardist, and they've got one there, and they're tapping away with their feet, and you think, gee, and it was just, and singing as well. She was a great singer. She
was with Kev Hutch and Phil Houghton at the Jacksons Club. What a band there was.
Yes. Yeah, my partner knows Julie and Kev. She used to work at the Jacksons Club.
I need to get Hutch on here, really.
Oh yeah, he'll come on. He's great as well.
He's a few stories to tell.
Yeah.
So,
sure, yeah.
Words of wisdom, Dean. A piece of advice for the viewers, the people that are starting in the business. What would you say?
Yeah, just try and learn some songs that you really enjoy. Sometimes I've always said that if I'm learning a song or a new song comes along, I try and let the song choose me. Rather than in a kind of way, rather than choose a song that you love, because we've all got great songs out there that we'd love to try, but it's just not our range. Or so kind of like songs that I enjoy listening to over time and time again. I'll give it a go. If it's not for me, it's not for me, you know. But enjoy what you do is the main thing. I mean, years ago we used to have like talent contests all over the place. There was clubs everywhere you could go. There was talent. We used to go all over the country. You know, a few of the viewers that have been on here, some of your artists that have been who, Bridlington, Whitby, Scarborough. There was competitions everywhere, so it was fantastic in the beginning for us to just enter them. It didn't matter whether you won or not. It was just the experience of, the whole feel of performing. So
great advice, Dean. I would like to say to the viewers, Dean's been an absolute pleasure. He's going talking back through the history, and throughout many of my podcasts, we haven't mentioned Julie Kinsey. So a big shout out to Julie. If anybody's watching, it's nice. And as Dean says, as they all say, be happy, do what you do, and enjoy it.
Keep smiling and don't worry about if if a certain song goes a bit iffy, and get your set right, get your songs you enjoy doing, and go for it. And we're all gonna have a bad song some nights. You all think, oh, I missed that or I missed that. But I've sung songs where I've sung the same verse twice. But you've kept with the flow of the song.
Just before we go, Dean, just before you go, a very quick one because we're running out of time. Wintringham, do you remember there was a club there, Wintringham Workingmen's Club? My friend from Bolton had come over, Workingmen's Club. There were 5 of us, and another 10 people went to that club, set up, did my first spot, but there was talking all through the bingo, all my family. They come up and paid me off. Too noisy, get out.
Yeah.
I said, what about the act? No, we don't want you and your noisy rowdy in here. People are complaining at the bingo.
Really?
And that's the only time I've ever been paid off.
Yeah. I've turned up at a gig before and walked in and had a look around and walked back out, but I'm not going there. And it was just back in the early days, when he was kind of still a little bit nervous, and there was a drunk sat in the corner and somebody shouting at the bar. The landlord was just there. You thought, nobody knew me, so I had a quick swift.
I'm off. Okay, ladies and gents, the showcase brings you an array of talents from all over the country. Today we've had Dean. I'd like to ask you kindly, the most important thing is you subscribe to this podcast because there's many, many great acts to come. If you don't subscribe, you won't know. I'll have all his pictures on here when the video's produced and everything like that. I'd like to thank you, Dean, for being on here.
Thank you, Shaun.
And good luck with your career, and I hope to see you again soon.
We might be able to meet up one time, you never know.
I hope so, Dean. I hope so.
Yeah, a lot of people who've been on here have always had some kind of link with you or some kind of they've worked with you in the past.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can be part of that team one day. Meet up with you. I'll have to come to Thailand.
Yeah, okay.
To come for all you can show us around.
Thanks, Dean.
All right, all the best. Take care, Shaun.